following video is not for the faint of heart.
Tengo 14 años, sufro de epilepsia quística, solicito hablar urgente con la presidenta porque estoy cansada de vivir con esta enfermedad y ella me puede autorizar la inyección para quedarme dormida para siempre. Ya se me murió mi hermano mayor, Mike, de la misma enfermedad.
Okay, Valentina was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, a terminal disease without a cure. In this video, she requested to meet with the president of Chile. But in Chile, euthanasia is illegal, so she was hoping for a one-time exception to this rule. And based on Valentina's example, it's clear that euthanasia is a serious and pressing topic. But you may be skeptical about the magnitude of this topic. Maybe it's a very uncommon request. Well, in a survey in the U.S. of 256 physicians, 19% have been asked for a lethal sleeping pill. This is according to a journal article in Current Opinion entitled Euthanasia and Assisted Suicide. But maybe you're still unconvinced of the pertinence of this issue. After all, these were only requests. They weren't always being fulfilled. Well, in the same study, 13% of the 19% who had been asked complied. And they prescribed a sleeping pill that killed their patients. Today, I'd like to offer some biblical evidence in opposition of the practice of euthanasia. Then I'd like to explore the support for euthanasia and a counter-argument. And finally, I want to suggest what we can do to promote life over death. I'd like to begin with a story from 2 Samuel. The Israelites were battling the Philistines when Saul is severely wounded. And as he lays in agony on the battlefield, he is encountered by a foot soldier. And the foot soldier is urged by Saul to end his life. Saul says, "Come over here and put me out of my misery, for I am in terrible pain and want to die." So the foot soldier takes his spear and plunges it into Saul's chest, killing him and essentially performing euthanasia. But if you remember, the story does not end there. The soldier must then report to David what happened. And when David hears what the soldier did, he becomes furious. And he says, "Why were you not afraid to kill the Lord's anointed one?" And David has the soldier put to death. This story is an almost exact parallel with euthanasia. And David's punishment of the soldier makes it abruptly clear that euthanasia is wrong. Why then are there so many people in favor of euthanasia? Well, they pose these two questions. Why should we force someone to go on living if the remainder of their life is characterized by pain and suffering? And secondly, why should we not allow them to choose to die? It's a valid argument. I don't like to suffer, and I assume none of you do either. But I think proponents of euthanasia overlook amazing medical advancements in pain relief. According to Dr. Jane Dahl, a professor of pharmacology at the University of Wisconsin, roughly 90 to 95% of dying patients are able to experience substantial pain relief. And on a scale of 0 to 10, treatments can almost always bring pain down to a 2 or a 3. So it may be a widespread belief that pain is too overwhelming, but thanks to modern medical technology, this is simply not true. Okay, so you may be wondering how this applies to your life here and now. I don't expect any of you to remember this 6-minute speech 60 years from now, when you may actually have to face the decision whether or not to be euthanized. But there is something you can do now. Maybe you have aging grandparents, or you volunteer at a nursing home, or you're going into social work or healthcare. Here's my suggestion for all of you. Offer these individuals hope. I don't think it's unrealistic to hope for a miracle. This is a chart from mdhealth.com, and it shows the percentage of patients diagnosed with stage 4 cancer that lived 5 or more years. These numbers are anything but hopeless. And coupled with prayer and God's power, an individual has every reason to fight and no reason to turn towards euthanasia. However, they can't do it alone. They need individuals like us to counsel them through these dark times, assuring them that God is with them. And it is our duty to dissuade them from euthanasia and to encourage them to pursue treatment and ultimately to pursue God. Brogue Ministries says on the website, believers should be the ones to provide counsel and spiritual care to dying patients. Those suffering loss are often more open to the gospel than at any other time. So there you have it. Christians are the best people for this line of work. Now, you've been equipped with a biblical perspective on euthanasia. We've seen how proponents argue that the pain is unbearable, but we've seen scientific evidence in opposition to this. Finally, I want to refer back to Valentina. She met with the president of Chile, but was refused her request for euthanasia. But fortunately, her video was viewed by Maribel Oviedo, a 22-year-old suffering from cystic fibrosis as well. Maribel was able to offer her hope that treatment could improve her life. Valentina rescinded her request for euthanasia, continued to seek treatment, and ultimately was given hope. Today, I want to call you all to be messengers of hope, like Maribel. I want you to offer love and support to those facing terminal illnesses, for I truly believe that we can each make a difference.